10 days ago, I think I was able to predict that there was going to be rain, and it rained because of the movement of the wind that I saw. That little knowledge we tap from the elderly. So the African has her own of doing things, and it is just that we don't want to hear made in Ghana things. That is our problem.
The event envisions a future where Africa reshapes its own narratives, decolonizing and reimagining made in Africa monitoring, evaluation and learning methods and practices. Professor Seydou Al-Hassan says that Africans have always had the ability to forecast and predict events such as rainfall and harvest by observing natural phenomena, stressing that it is time to recognize and appreciate Africans' indigenous knowledge and ways of measuring development rather than solely relying on external benchmarks.
Taboos, festivals, storytelling, and even wisdom of the elders. We had people who could, in one way or the other, be able to foresee something that could happen even in 5 to 10 years' time. There were people like that. Visionaries. Today we talk about forecasting, rain forecast. The African man will look at the movement of birds, will look at even the rising of the sun, and then will be able to predict whether there was going to be rain on that day or not. The African man could predict whether in that particular year they were going to have bumper harvest or not. Just imagining or observing the movement of certain things, like the birds. Anything made in Africa, made in Ghana, made in Cameroon, I don't know what about Nigeria. People just don't want to patronize. That is the problem. So that is the more reason why we have to be serious on this project, so that when we propose the framework, the acceptability rate will be high.
He believes that embracing this approach will lead to true development and progress for Africa. Professor Al-Hassan emphasizes that while Africans may overlook certain aspects, others recognize their contribution to development.
There was a colleague who visited my village some time back and then participated in this Simpa dance. Simpa is a common dance communities around here do have. At night, this white lady participated in the Simpa. They danced up to 1 a.m. free of any threat. This woman, right from Kisonayili, she walked up to Katarga around 2 a.m. And the next morning, her comments were that Africa, for that matter, the people of Tamale, you are developed. You are developed. Because she did that without any fee.
The project convenience lead at UDS, Hadi Shahadu, also indicates that with the integration of indigenous African knowledge such as traditional medicine and healing, technology, festivities and recreation, life has improved significantly.
In terms of traditional knowledge and healing in indigenous communities, I think even Western science is now coming to appreciate that in traditional healing, you just don't heal the physical material body. So healing starts with healing the spirit. So that kind of connection, you heal the spirit, and then that then leads to the healing of the physical body. Scientists are now, Western Orthodox medicine is now coming to appreciate that healing is not just about the physical body. It has to do with the mind and the spirit and what have you. And this is something that indigenous African knowledge systems has been using to heal ourselves for a very long time.
How do we make evaluation culturally and contextually relevant within the African context? And that is where the Made in Africa evaluation started.
A senior director at the Mastercard Foundation, Adeline Sibanda, advocates for the use of indigenous knowledge systems to inform the evaluation practice in Africa. For Adeline, no evaluation exists outside a context or cultural realities.
So we believe that the use of indigenous knowledge systems, local ways of knowing, cultural practices, and consideration of different local contexts, Made in Africa approaches should shape really the evaluation practice in Africa. So it is important to shift the status quo in practice, mindsets around how evaluation is conceived and practiced in Africa. So as we gather here for the next 3 days, I am excited that this is drawing us closer to the dream that Dr. Suli Gariba had for Africa and the impact field specifically. We are convinced that we are making history. Some of the approaches and frameworks that will be developed here will guide the way evaluation approaches are used globally.
The Made in Africa Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Project wants to advance the process of developing evaluation approaches that prioritize African knowledge systems, local ways of knowing, and cultural practices. The Mastercard Foundation is supporting 3 consortia, including the University for Development Studies, University for Botswana, and the Beta Center to implement the Made in Africa evaluation initiatives. A report by Mohamed Nurudeen.